What's up, Internet? Have you ever wished that you had a secret talent for something? The good news is you probably have one if you haven't found it yet. The not so good news is it's probably not going to be in meditation. There's usually a big chasm between expectation and reality. If you have found meditation difficult to sustain, you're not alone. Maybe you simply haven't found the right technique that works for you at this moment. In this video, I will be talking about the 3 types of meditation techniques that I've practiced extensively over the past 7 years, and hopefully it will give you a better insight to what's available out there for you. So if you haven't met, my name is Trey, and this channel is all about self-improvement, and not just any type of self-improvement. It is about super serious self-improvement, because life is a lot more fun, especially for those around you, when you take yourself extremely seriously. This is the 3rd video of a series of meditation that I am currently doing. If you haven't seen the previous video, I do encourage you to start there. But otherwise, let's dive into it. When we think about meditation today, we are usually thinking about mindfulness meditation. Today, mindfulness meditation is probably the most widely practiced technique in the West, if not the world. Personally speaking, I've also spent quite a bit of my practice on mindfulness meditation. So in this video, we'll be spending quite some time talking about mindfulness meditation. And of course, there are many other types, hundreds of other types of meditation techniques such as Dzogchen, Zazen, as well as Kundalini Yoga meditation. I don't have as much experience within those, so I'm not going to be talking about them too much within this video. Generally, you can sort of put meditation into 2 types. So there are one type which helps you to develop a quieter, calmer state of mind, as well as improving your concentration and awareness. But then there's also another type where you can use meditation to transform your mind by developing qualities such as compassion as well as wisdom. The 3 types that I will be sharing with you today covers a bit of both. The first type of meditation technique that I want to talk about is called Vipassana. In Pali, an ancient Buddhist language, Vipassana means to see things as they are. And the literal translation is special seeing. Today, the term Vipassana is often used interchangeably with the term mindfulness. And you probably have heard of the term mindfulness by now. But mindfulness hasn't always been popular in the West, even though it has been a key concept in Buddhism for hundreds if not thousands of years. Its rise in the West is often credited to a few individuals, one of whom is called Jon Kabat-Zinn. He is the creator and founder of the MBSR program, the Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction Program. And one of the teachers he studied under is named Thich Nhat Hanh, a Vietnamese Buddhist monk, peace activist, and the founder of the Plum Village tradition. He is a hugely influential figure within mindfulness and has sometimes been called the father of mindfulness. I mean, sure, he doesn't have as many followers as Kim Kardashian or The Weeknd. And he doesn't even do giveaways or text for likes on his Instagram. I mean, what's the deal with that? But that doesn't mean he's not worth listening to. So what Jon Kabat-Zinn did was to take his Eastern training and he removed any Buddhist context and link towards mindfulness, and he put it within the scientific context to develop the MBSR program. In essence, mindfulness meditation is simply asking you to sit back and observe your thoughts as they pass through your mind, without necessarily engaging and getting involved in them and without judging them. You simply sit back, take notice of any recurring thought patterns. And this practice typically combines both concentration and awareness. There will be an object of focus, very often the breath, and as you are asked to watch any bodily sensations that may arise, physical, mental, as well as psychological. And you also to watch your thoughts and emotions as they come up and they go. So what I like the most about mindfulness meditation in general is that while the ask and the request for you to sit down and observe your mind is simple, it is deceptively difficult. You would think that having control of your mind, being able to direct your thoughts and giving it instructions to do what you want is a life skill that you might have acquired. But then when you try to do something like this, only to realize that it is almost impossible for the average human being, then for me it was a moment of truth, a moment of realization to understand that, okay, maybe my beliefs weren't as solid as they were. And I think this is how it works with belief system. You need to have an experience that clashes against your current belief, and at some point you're willing to maybe entertain other belief system. And that's when change happens, right? The second type of meditation that I want to bring up today is called Mettā meditation, often known as loving kindness meditation. And it is a practice concerned with cultivating the quality of Mettā, i.e. benevolence and kindness. So this is a practice that I haven't practiced extensively and consistently. Rather, I have used it and practiced it when the time called for it. So this is how the practice works. You are typically asked to generate a couple or think of a couple of phrases, and you focus on two things, either or in most cases that the ones I've tried are a combination of two. So you focus on generating compassion as well as generating loving kindness. And you are typically asked to silently repeat a phrase which may go something like, may you be happy and may you be free of suffering. So one is generating goodwill towards someone and as well as towards yourself, and the other one is to relieve someone of suffering. And it usually goes like this in stages in a typical guided meditation that I have tried. First, you begin by repeating those two phrases aimed towards yourself. So you would go like, may I be happy, may I be free from suffering. And then you would move that focus onto a loved one, someone you know and you care about. So it can be, I don't know, whoever you care about. I did it with my dog a lot actually. So may you be happy, may you be free of suffering. And then the third one, you usually move to a neutral person. And this can be the guy who works at the shop that you always frequent. Just someone neutral, maybe you don't have a really deep, meaningful relationship with. And then after that, you move on to typically a difficult person. So someone maybe you have conflict currently in your life, and maybe someone you have trouble forgiving, and you're aiming these two phrases at them, trying to generate goodwill at them. And then finally, you cap off the session with generating goodwill towards every being on earth. So this is how it usually goes by. And even though this is not a practice that I have sort of used consistently on a daily basis, rather I have used it when the time called for it. So I used it a lot in the period of my time when I was having difficulty with a person or a situation. I tend to sort of retreat to this practice. And what I think is really unique in the sense that I've tried quite a few meditation techniques by now. I've done a lot of visualizations. Body scan is also a pretty common one where you close your eyes and you focus. You try to imagine your energy going through different parts of your body and trying to feel the sensations. So I've always had difficulty with those kind of visualizations, but with loving kindness, I find that it is a lot more concrete and somehow practical. So the phrases are very concrete. You're saying those phrases and you're always holding a person in mind, yourself, your loved one, or someone else. So it's usually a lot easier for me to direct the focus and get something out of it. You know the saying, where focus goes, energy flows. So this is a practice that really encapsulates that. So when you're feeling really angry at someone, it is difficult to feel gratitude or joy, right? So similarly, inversely, if you are feeling full of gratitude for something and someone, then it's also quite challenging for you to feel frustrated or angry or sad. And this is a great practice, although some people find it difficult to generate goodwill towards someone that they dislike or have challenges with. I think ultimately it really goes back to that famous saying in Buddhism, which goes something like, if you are angry at someone, it's kind of like you're drinking poison then expecting the other person to die. If you are angry at someone, it's kind of like you're drinking poison yourself and expecting the other person to die. So we all know this. I mean, holding on to anger and all these kind of things are not so good for us. I mean, for all you know, you might be really upset and the other person don't even care, doesn't even remember what happened, right? So like, why do we do this to ourselves? Mettā meditation is a great way of sort of slowly encountering this negative feeling within you and sort of working through it in a very positive and constructive way. The third and final meditation technique that I would like to cover today is Transcendental Meditation, otherwise commonly known as TM. TM is a movement that has been rising in popularity. Millions of people practice it today. It was first introduced in the 1950s by its founder, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. And since then, peak performers and a lot of famous people, from the Beatles to Jerry Seinfeld, the comedian, Hugh Jackman, the actor, as well as David Lynch, the director, among many others, have publicly stated that it has been life-changing for them. So while it's probably true that a lot of these famous people have helped increase its popularity, I think one of the key differentiators of TM is its simplicity, at least compared to other techniques that I have tried. So if you've tried meditation before, and it's probably mindfulness meditation, a lot of people go into the session, especially in the beginning, expecting that they would feel calm from it and maybe even happiness, only to realize that it's anything but most of the time, right? You sit down and you realize that this voice in your head just keeps on going on and on. It doesn't stop. So for a lot of people, it can end up to be a pretty disturbing and destabilizing experience. TM offers a pretty interesting alternative to that. The goal of TM is to go beyond thinking. And the way they do it is by the use of a mantra. So essentially, a mantra is a sound. They would say that it is a meaningless sound, although you get assigned a very specific sound based on your age range, I believe, when you join the program. You are advised to practice it twice a day for 15 to 20 minutes each day, and I have to say, having practiced it for 3 years, it has been incredibly effective for me. I was very surprised when I first started trying it out at how effective this technique was compared to mindfulness meditation, in terms of it taking me to a state of mind and how quickly it took me there each time. So it is something that I can only recommend, although the biggest prohibitor of joining TM is its cost. For a long time, it cost about $1,000 just to join the program, and I won't get into it here, but many people have criticized the organization for its high cost. Although before this video, I took a look at their website and I realized that they actually have introduced a new price structure, which goes in stages according to your income per year. So I think it starts off at $500 to $1,000. And as with many of these apps, you can always write them. If you really want to try this out, you should write into them and tell them the situation, and they might be able to offer you a subsidy or a grant of some sort. I hope this has given you a good overview of some of the types of meditation that is available to you. It doesn't really matter which type you choose to go with for the moment. What's important is that you pick something and you experience it for yourself, because ultimately, that's the only thing that really matters. When you experience something, whether it's for the first time or continuously over a long period of time, your relationship with that activity fundamentally changes. Insofar, we have been talking a lot about the why meditate, and what are the beliefs that you hold that are not necessarily true, and what are the types of meditation that we covered in this video. In the next video, and probably the final video in this series, I will be covering the how. So how do you actually go about building a meditation habit if you are interested, as well as what are some of the apps that you can use that I can recommend. So if you're interested in this, stay tuned for the next video. If you enjoyed this video, leave me a like, leave me a comment. I'll love to hear from you. Otherwise, I'll see you out there on the internet.